a younger colleague aged 24 who had something private she wished to share with me. Our relationship extends beyond work into personal realms, so I didn't think much of her request initially. Upon arriving at her residence, however, the atmosphere was noticeably tense. She hesitated, indicating the gravity of what she was about to disclose, urging me to brace myself for the revelation. Kate revealed she stumbled upon 2 videos on an adult site featuring a woman she was convinced was me. I dismissed the possibility outright, but her insistence led to a shocking confirmation. Despite never recording myself in intimate moments with my husband, there I was, unmistakably, in 2 videos, lasting 7 and 4 minutes respectively, filmed in our former bedroom. Watching those videos, the realization hit me hard that my husband might be responsible, though I tried to suppress such thoughts, hoping for a less distressing explanation. Leaving her house, my thoughts were in turmoil, barely registering her words. Nevertheless, she followed up with a message assuring me she had contacted the website to request the removal of the videos and pledged her support as I navigated this crisis. She also committed to monitoring the internet for any additional uploads, demonstrating her support in this deeply troubling time. Returning home, a frantic search unveiled the horrifying truth: hidden cameras meticulously placed by my husband to capture our most private moments. The betrayal left me physically ill and emotionally shattered. As a devout, veiled Muslim woman, my intimacy had been reserved solely for my husband, and his violation of our trust felt unfathomable. Isolated in our bedroom under the guise of illness, I was consumed by a sense of violation and despair. The internet's permanence mocked my efforts to erase the digital footprint of my betrayal. My husband's oblivious attempts at care, suggesting takeout of my favorite dishes, seemed grotesquely ironic in light of his actions. Overwhelmed by a maelstrom of shame, anger, and sorrow, I was at a loss on how to confront the situation, communicate with my family, or seek the support I desperately needed. Update: following through on my decision, I left my husband. On a day like any other as he left for work, I summoned the movers. Amidst packing, tears streamed down my face uncontrollably, to the point of eliciting concern from the movers. Despite their worry, I couldn't halt the flow of my tears. Returning to my family home, I gathered my parents and siblings to unveil the grim reality of my situation. My parents, with their advanced age and delicate health, struggled to grasp the digital complexities of my ordeal. Their solution was simplistic: let's discuss this with those involved, and it will be resolved. However, my siblings instantly grasped the gravity of the situation, their reactions a mix of anger and profound sorrow for my plight. Together with my siblings and brothers-in-law, we confronted him upon his return. Initially, he attempted to deny everything. Yet, confronted with the steadfast resolve of my brothers, his facade began to crumble, revealing a sliver of truth. He confessed to his actions, attributing them to a cocktail of depression, pornography, and sex addiction, and a misguided belief that his deeds would remain unseen. He admitted to uploading between 5 to 8 videos. We forced him to remove them, but the extent of their distribution remains unknown. During this confrontation, another layer of betrayal was unveiled: a secret phone, through which he engaged in affairs with numerous women and private workers. All the while, I had been under the illusion of his dedication to work, unaware of the depth of his deception and the disgrace he brought upon our marriage. In a surprising turn, he tricked us by saying he needed the bathroom but instead called his mom. Soon, his mom, his brother, and cousins showed up at our door, upset about how we were treating him. After things cooled down a bit, we explained what he had done. Hearing this, his mom fainted. She's old and not very healthy. Right then, a neighbor had called the cops, and I ended up being arrested just as the ambulance came for his mom. I spent that night in jail, thinking over everything but not talking to him. The police said I was arrested for hitting him. I had slapped him, but he didn't want to take it further, so they let me go the next morning. I went back to my parents' place, feeling even worse as I saw them cry too. A few days later, I talked to some lawyers my sister found who know a lot about dealing with videos posted online without permission. They're helping me with the police and the websites. I've also started getting a divorce. I went to get health checks to make sure he hadn't passed on any diseases, and so far I'm okay. I have to go back for another check just to be sure. His mom said sorry to me, even though none of this is her fault. She gets why I'm upset and wants the law to handle it. She hopes I won't try to get back at him myself. He's hiding somewhere but keeps calling and messaging me from different numbers, still lying and trying to trick me. I'm keeping track of everything he sends. Now it seems like everyone knows about what happened, even kids, and I feel more embarrassed than ever before. Update 2. This man has torn apart everything I've built and shattered the little bit of stability and safety I had left. I was forced to quit a job I loved. Finding work is tough for someone who looks like me, and I couldn't stay because my presence became a risk to the children and staff. Perverts started harassing me at work. I work with vulnerable children, and now some mothers are keeping their kids away from me after hearing rumors. They worry about their husbands who act strangely around me. Fathers have stared or made inappropriate comments, and one even tried to pay me for sex. I've been catcalled more than ever, followed, and even assaulted in public. Random men harass me and my family by phone and email, all because my husband shared my personal and work information online. It feels like the whole world is judging me. Though most people are supportive and kind, reaching out to show they care, from old classmates to neighbors and his own family, the loud and bold actions of a few can feel overwhelming. Then through my lawyers in their investigation, it came to light that he had been drugging and assaulting me in my sleep. My medication for migraines and insomnia became his tool for drugging me. He bragged on a forum to other predators about using my medication against me, receiving encouragement for his actions. He's now spreading lies that I knew about the cameras and pressured him into posting online, and shockingly, some believe him. He went back on his decision not to press charges, leading to a court appearance. Thankfully, the judge and prosecutor saw the truth. They dismissed the case, swayed by my lawyer's explanation of the events leading to the slap and his vindictive behavior afterwards. They used his own admissions against him, including texts and a recorded call where he confessed the slap wasn't severe and that his pressing charges was meant to hurt me. However, the legal battle isn't over as the investigation into his crimes against me continues. Update 3, I wish I could share that things are getting better, but the truth is, I'm still deeply struggling. He continues to inflict as much pain as possible, obstructing every attempt I make to move forward. He's been uncooperative with my divorce lawyer, complicating the process at every turn, and has already gone through 3 lawyers. We're back to square one in the divorce negotiations because he's on his 3rd lawyer and the courts have granted him an extension after his last lawyer quit right before our hearing. The situation with the non-consensual material isn't any better. A trial date was set, but he's requested an extension there too, likely to be granted since his criminal lawyer also quit on him. In just the last month, he's been dropped by both his divorce and criminal lawyers. It's as if he's on a destructive streak. Amidst this turmoil, my personal life has faced its own tragedies. My father passed away a little over a month ago, and now my mother is in hospice care, her time drawing near. While the sadness is profound, the loss of my father after his long battle with cancer wasn't unexpected. I had time to prepare as much as one can for such things. And my mother's health has been in decline for years due to dementia. It's a heavy burden, one that weighs on me amidst the ongoing battles with my soon-to-be ex-husband. In an unexpected confrontation, my soon-to-be ex-husband approached me at the venue for my father's funeral meal. Exhausted and vulnerable, I found myself unable to dismiss him as I had in the past. He expressed regret and offered numerous excuses for his actions, reflecting on his insecurities and jealousy over my achievements and independence. He admitted that the qualities he once admired in me became sources of resentment as our marriage progressed. His confessions revealed deep-seated issues with addiction and anger, blaming his actions on his feelings of inadequacy and jealousy. For 3 hours, he justified his behavior, oscillating between self-pity and blame. When I pointed out the jealousy and inadequacy at the heart of his actions, he reacted with anger, confirming the twisted logic behind his devastating choices. I chose to remain silent, letting him expose the depth of his issues without interruption. In his mind, his actions boiled down to feelings of inferiority and jealousy towards me, angered by my independence and opinions. He shared that just before our wedding, he joined an online group for men struggling with porn and sex addiction. They advised creating personal porn as a solution, but knowing I'd never agree, he felt justified in secretly filming me. His initial intent wasn't to share these videos, but one day, in retaliation for angering him, he posted a video online and found satisfaction in the act. Each time he felt belittled or upset by me, he would post more, eventually gaining a following that admired him for his so-called sexual conquests. This fed into his addiction and ego, leading him to escalate his behaviors, including engaging with sex workers as his addiction and spending spiraled out of control. The financial burden fell on me, deepening his resentment and trapping him in a cycle of self-destruction and anger towards me. He claimed to have joined a support group and started outpatient treatment at an addiction rehab to address his issues, suggesting I should commend his effort and consider reconciling, especially since he refrained from stalking me after my father's passing. He believes his recent attempts at transparency and recovery should merit some acknowledgement, unable to grasp why I remain unmoved by his admissions and displays of vulnerability. In his distorted perception, my stoic response to his tearful confession makes me cold-hearted, failing to see the gravity of his betrayals and the irreversible harm caused. He explained that he always felt less than me. He was jealous and mad because I had my own thoughts in life. He said before our wedding, he joined a men's group online for help with his addiction. They suggested making personal videos instead of watching others. But since he knew I wouldn't agree, he blamed me for his choice to secretly record me. He only shared those videos online to get back at me whenever he felt I had wronged him. This made him feel powerful, especially as others encouraged him. His problems with addiction got worse, and he spent more money, which made him resent me even more. He told me he's been getting help for his addiction and thinks I should be proud of him. He believes I should take him back for trying to improve. He also mentioned he stopped bothering me after my dad passed as if it was a favor. He can't understand why I'm not impressed by his efforts. Even though he tried to show he was sorry, I didn't feel anything. I just finished cleaning up and went home. I'm still not working and I keep getting unwanted calls. It's been tough. The one good thing is that some websites have removed the videos and banned him. Final update, at last there's some good news to share. After a tough battle, I managed to get a restraining order against my now officially ex-husband, who didn't stop stalking and harassing me. It took many calls to the police and court visits, but he's finally been sent to prison, where he's been for over a month. My divorce is also finalized. I initially wanted to settle things quickly and was ready to agree to his demands, but his constant delays and increasing demands pushed me to my limit. I decided to fight back, and my lawyers, who were just as fed up with him as I was, secured everything I wanted and much more. Seeing him upset in court was strangely comforting. This past month has been the most peaceful I've felt in a long while. The ordeal took a heavy toll on my health, causing me to lose weight and hair from all the stress. However, seeing him face the consequences of his actions in court felt like a healing balm for my soul. I've since moved across the country and started a new job. It's a step towards rebuilding my life and confidence. I'm also seeing a therapist. While it's too early to say it's making a difference, I believe that with time, therapy will help me heal. Finally, there's a bit of closure regarding the videos he posted without my consent. They've been taken down from the more credible sites, and through my lawyer's efforts, I received some compensation. This was because these companies preferred to settle rather than face a legal battle. Of course, the money doesn't undo the damage or remove the pain, but it's a small victory in this whole mess. I'm realistic enough to know that the content might still be out there in some form, and fully erasing it from the internet is nearly impossible. I'm learning to come to terms with that. Meanwhile, my ex-husband has been sentenced to prison for his actions, and the legal processes are advancing to ensure he faces the full consequences. I've heard from others that the weight of his situation has hit him hard, leading him to a suicide attempt. He's now under protective custody as he awaits his trial. With the potential of facing up to 30 years in corporal punishment, it seems he's finally beginning to grasp the severity of his actions. And honestly, I find a sense of justice in that.